Hey, if you think that all there is to adding muscle is going to the gym and working out and eating protein, have we got a surprise for you. Today, we're going to talk about 3 strategies that have nothing to do with you going to the gym and how you can add muscle. All right, well, here we go. We're going to talk about 3 surprising strategies for adding muscle. And we always talk about resistance training. We always talk about protein, and those things are obviously vital, but we're going to hit 3 things that maybe you don't think about, but if you want to add muscle in 2025, these need to be a priority.
They need to be a priority, and they're things that you probably don't even think of when you think about building muscle.
Yeah, so before we get into it, please take a second and subscribe to the channel. Give us a like for the video, and you won't miss out on anything. We are putting out piles of regular content, so we want to make sure that you're getting all of the tips and the information that we have about how you can physically, do the best for your body. So let's start. Number 1 is prioritizing sleep. Mm-hmm. And that's one that we often don't think about, like you said.
Yep.
And especially we live in such a busy society that it kind of seems to be that sleep is the throwaway, right?
It's the afterthought. Like, we get so caught up in doing stuff and so busy that we never think about how important our sleep is.
Yeah, and the other part of sleep is sometimes we are connected to our phones until we lay our heads down.
Right.
And so what we've essentially done is the blue light from the cameras have fired all of our neurons right up, and then we're trying to get sleep.
Yeah.
So the other part about sleep is it's not just the fact that you lie down and get sleep, but that we get into quality deep sleep, because that's when your body is going to do the most of the muscle building.
Yeah.
And of the healing and the restoring and all of those things. There's no shortcut to that. And it's interesting, there was a study done where they found that people who shortchanged sleep during the week and tried to catch up on the weekend, and there's some validity to that, they were able to catch up to sleep, but what they weren't able to catch up was the muscle building.
Right.
Because they cut that sleep time down. So what can we do about sleep? I think there's some real simple things, and we've talked about this before. We've done a whole episode, actually 2 on sleep, or several after that as well. But I think the important thing when we talk about sleep is, in your mind, think about this. I am growing muscle while I'm sleeping. Sleeping is a priority so that I can do everything I can to add muscle in my 50s and beyond that. And I think that's the thing. We always hear about how hard it is to add muscle when you're aging, but there's some simple things that we can do that can help the process. And sleep obviously is one of them. So, the rule of thumb is usually they say half an hour before bed to disconnect from your technology.
Yeah.
Right? You may want to consider using a blue light glasses. I'm actually trying to find some. If you know where I can find blue light glasses that are not readers, put it in the comments, because I'm looking for a place to get some blue light glasses, both for myself and for my daughter. So pick that half an hour time. A couple of other real simple things. Make it a cool room to sleep in, right? We generally do better in a cool room, and make it a dark room if you need to get blackout blinds, or maybe you can get, the visor, whatever the things that cover your eyes. What are they called?
Oh, the little thing.
Yeah, the little thing.
Thing.
Yeah, that's very scientific. That's our very scientific, what is that covers our eyes?
I have a lavender eye pillow. It even smells nice.
Okay. All right. So that's number 1,
right.
Is make sure you're making sleep a priority so that your body can heal and recover, and you can be adding muscle in that time.
Right.
Okay. Number 2, and these all actually tie together, but number 2 is manage stress.
Oh, Murphy. Okay.
Here's the thing. Chronic stress increases cortisol. Mm-hmm. And cortisol, let me put it this way.
Is the stress hormone that hinders muscle growth.
Well, here's the thing. In and of itself, cortisol is not bad, but our bodies are designed that we, here's God designed them. We see the lion, we hit the cortisol, the body hits the cortisol, and we have a response of fight, flight,
or
freeze.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then we go away from the lion, and the cortisol comes back
comes down.
and we're fine.
But to stay in that fight or
But-
flight,
Right. So
is cortisol.
this is the issue with stress: is we stay in a perpetually stressed situation, or just with things in our mind, and what are we thinking about, and what are we, what about this, what about that? We're always, sometimes we can be so wrapped up in the news that there's no peace at all, right?
No.
We're completely wound up. So it's really important, because the more that cortisol gets released into our system, what our body does then is say, okay, let's shut down anything that's not immediately important for dealing with stress.
Yeah.
So your immune system gets shut down because your body says, well, we don't care if you get a cold, you need to get away from the lion. Right?
Exactly. So we have to learn how to deal with stress. So sometimes we live in a world that is full of stress. We're surrounded by things that trigger our fight or flight, our stress.
Yep.
So how do we get around that?
Are you asking me?
No, I know how to do it.
So
Ask me what I got for Christmas. I got a set of singing bowls, chakra singing bowls.
Okay.
Ah, see, it's all about Zen. It's all about,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I have a yoga
So-
studio coming in my new home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, how can we deal with stress? Meditation,
breathing.
Breathing is a big one, and you might say,
Yeah.
"Well, I'm breathing right now."
No, you're not.
I mean, yes, we are breathing, but to actually take time to, whether you're doing, there's different ways you can do breathing exercises. What it does is it causes you to relax and causes you to slow down. And whether it's you're doing breath work where you're thinking about the breathing, or however that process is like. For me, I do breathing. I do prayer. I read my Bible. Those kind of things to just put a cap on everything else that's going on. And so, otherwise, it's interesting. I can be working out sometimes, and just some thought comes to me about, I have to do this thing. And then the workout's not great, or that particular set, I have to grab myself and be like, stop. Okay. And I have to take control of my thoughts to say, no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about this right now. And it's not a big deal, period.
Yeah.
Right. So, stress management is huge. And again, we can do that with some breath work. There's all sorts of different options and opportunities, things you can get that you can work on your breathing, that you can do all those things. So, all right. So number 3 is active recovery. So remember, when we go to the gym and work out, that's not when we grow. That's when we put the muscles under tension. That's when we actually damage the muscles. And then we leave the gym so we can heal.
It's in that rest phase that we're in our recovery phase.
Yeah.
And you have to be mindful of that phase.
Right.
It's very important.
Yeah. So active recovery is really, that's where we can do some extra stretching. And it's interesting, one of the things, especially as we're aging, you might not think you need to stretch, but it's funny, I haven't done regular stretching in a while. And this morning when I was done at the gym, I went to do some stretches on my, just for quads and my hip flexors. And I was like, this is awful.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened here? Because I don't remember being that, I don't know,
Tight or
just tight and not as flexible. And
Right.
But here's the thing, I realized this morning, I have to make that a priority and keep that a priority. We've talked about it in the channel before on other things, but just making that a priority, that time to stretch and to do some active stretching. I was talking to my coach yesterday specifically about stretching the groin and the hip flexors, and he was talking about active stretching to me. For me to incorporate. So,
And me personally, I've been struggling with an injury in my left hip flexor. And so for me, cardio is not something that I'm able to actually get through right now. So what I've shifted is, after my weight training, I will do stretching.
Yeah.
Instead of cardio. And so I'm giving myself that more active recovery time.
Yeah. So what else can you do to help you with the active recovery? Things like swimming.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go swim miles.
No.
But you can go do some swimming, which is a light way for you to work through muscles and work them through, kind of full range of motion.
Yep.
You can do some foam rolling.
Yep.
That always helps loosen
Which
up.
hurts, but helps.
Yeah, it ultimately will help. And again, stretching regularly. The other thing about doing this part of it is it helps prevent injury.
Yeah.
Right. So again, as we're getting, I think this one to me is hits me like right now, because I got to experience it this morning when I went back to doing some stretching. I was like, well, this is a lot harder than I seem to recall last time we had to do this, or I did this, right? So,
Yeah.
so those are the three in a nutshell that we want to put out to you guys that you start to incorporate. And especially as we're aging, things like mobility and joint mobility is so important, and stress management and making sure we're taking care of sleep and all of those things. So really important that we work that in, because sometimes we'll go to the gym and work out and then we wonder why we're not making gains. Right? But it could be the other things outside the gym.
That's right.
So they all work together. So so thank you for joining us today. If you haven't, please like and subscribe. Helps us out with getting the word out to everybody else. And if you know somebody that you say, hey, this kind of information is really good information that I think somebody else would appreciate, give them the link, send them the video, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
See ya.